Hey gang, Rodin here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of our one-day playthroughs, where we go back in time and check out games that don't take necessarily 50 to 60 hours to play, but in theory can take 50 to 60 minutes to play. And for this one, we are bringing you a true underrated gem of the 5th generation. Now, I say that having spent the last 6 weeks bringing you guys my first time playthrough of Dark Souls 1 every weekend. I hope you've been enjoying that as well. And the one thing that I had always heard going into that game was the concept of get good. Fair enough. But before anybody tried to have to get good playing Dark Souls, they had to get good playing a game like this.
When the earth and the moon.
We're going to go back to 1998, just before my 21st birthday,
A daredevil from
and play a game from a developer that isn't known for making these types of
and
games.
because of its shape, called Einhander.
And it is still one of the most challenging and one of the most fun games I have played in my 40-odd years of gaming. We are going to play Einhander. Einhander was created by Squaresoft just a little bit after it was, a lot of ways, a follow-up from Final Fantasy VII. And we get a bit of a prologue here, which I will skip over, but essentially what this game is it is a 2.5D shoot 'em up that spans 7 levels. It was directed by Tatsuo Fuji, produced by Yusuke Hirata, and the soundtrack, which is highly acclaimed, was composed by Kenichiro Fukui. Came out in Japan November 20th, 1997, and came out in the US in May 1998. Now, for a lot of us at the time, to find out that Square, of all companies, having banked immensely on the generational success that was Final Fantasy VII, there had been a lot of speculation about what they were going to come out with next. And when they let us know that they were going to do a shoot 'em up game, we were like, what? Are you kidding? Seriously? But they did. Along with another RPG that didn't get nearly as much run as Square thought it would, called Saga Frontier. Now, in this game, you've got a couple of different gunships you can use. You have the Estrella FGA, you've got the Endion FRS Mark II, and you've got the Mark III. Now, the thing about this game is that the trick to it being your fighter can have what are called gun pods. So you're able to get weapons off of enemies adapted to your ship and use them against your enemies. And they can come in really, really handy in a pinch. So what we're going to do over the course of the next 25 minutes or so, we're going to try and get through this game. And I will tell you right now, in 25 years of playing it, I've never beaten it. Not once. I've never come remotely close to beating it. Nor has anybody I've ever met. In fact, the difficulty of this game was such that back in the day, in the early days of the internet, it was much thought of. Come on, if I get the shotgun here, thank you. That if you beat it, there was a secret website that you could go to that would be able to display your name as having beaten Einhander. That's how crazy the early days of the internet were, was that we somehow thought you were going to be like somebody famous and clandestine if you beat this game. Now you will see that I am rotating around between different weapons. Ooh, and I just died right there. It doesn't take much for you to die in this game, by the way, and you only get 3 fighters to work with. Now I'm trying to get it where I can have these set up on different gun pods, and unfortunately I'm not getting them to go. But having them at different angles will determine what sorts of attack you're able to do. Oof, and I went right into that bullet. Definitely need the cannon. And now I got to be able to dodge his bullets a little bit more. Now he's got the spread cannon like I have, and he's got a high velocity machine gun. And this is a mini boss. This isn't the full boss of this level. Oof! And I got hit. And just like that, you're dead. And then you're only limited to 10 continues in this game. So you have 3 lives per go and 10 continues to beat the game. But this is very much a classic bullet hell shoot 'em up type of game. And because the graphics are so deep and there's so much color to it, it is very hard to be able to discern where the bullets are coming from at times. And now let's see if I can get by this guy again. Oof. You have to be quick on the draw, and you've got to be able to move fast. Alright, let's see if I can finally get by this guy. Nope. And what I've determined is I don't like this ship. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to start over from the beginning.
There was a time.
And we're going to take our chances with a different bird. Now, there are also 3 difficulty settings in this game. There is easy, medium, and hard. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Estrella. In the original Japanese version, there was a free setting that lowered the difficulty, but also got rid of the overall score that you had below. Why they got rid of that for the American version, I don't know. It is possible to get the Japanese version now as a ROM to play this on an emulator. which is what I'm playing this on here. And I have never tried the Japanese version because I've always preferred to play the American version. But this game, to this day, is still extremely popular. And it is still also highly regarded. On Metacritic, it has an 89% rating. It is just shy of being considered an all-time great. But the average ranking that the critics gave it when it came out was roughly 90%. Now I should be able to take on this guy a little bit easier, because I have a big old cannon with 4 shots. And because you're not playing on a timer, you can be a little bit more patient about it. If you don't rush it, your chances of survival do get considerably better. Of course, I rush right into those bullets. Silly me. Alright, let's see what we can do with this guy here. Oof! I tried to move as I was firing and I got picked off. But yeah, CNET Game Center, Edge, Famitsu all ranked this game pretty highly. In fact, out of all of those, only Famitsu gave it the lowest score. Which was 31 out of 40. Let's try that again. Alright, now we've got the spreader and the cannon. So hopefully we can meet this guy stride for stride. If you take his weapons out first, I took the shotgun arm out, now I gotta take the machine gun arm out. I think I got him right there. But in pretty much every review of this game, the people who looked on it most favorably were the ones who both recognized that the plot was interesting because it speaks of a civil war between Earth and the Moon in the far future. And also, the kineticness of the action, the graphics. Oh man, the guy ran right into me. That sucked. That the graphics are some of the best of the post-16-bit era. and that it didn't try to be anything other than what it is, which is a hyperactive 2D, 2.5D I should say, shooter. Which in the mid to late 90s was actually in fairly short supply. Yes, we had games like Raiden, and they were still enjoying a bit of a life, but compared to Raiden, there just wasn't a game like this. Because now we're at the boss for this first level, and it's taken us 15 minutes to get here. And what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to blow this thing's head off, just like that. Stay out of the line of fire of that cannon. Watch it, because this thing is going to be... Thought I had it, and I was doing well, and then you're trying to duck one, and you run right square into the next one. Alright, gotta get that neck busted off here. Watch the rockets. Big ball joint out. And use the cannon. Swap it. Blow that thing away, and now it can't swing around and hit me with that. And it's dead. So we finally managed to get through just the first level. And not only did we manage to get through the first level, we still got 6 more to go.
Order the following operation. The armored trains were discovered leaving the city on their way to the east. Pursue them and locate the enemy supply route.
And we jump right from level 1 into level 2. And we've already run into boss number 2. Or nope, not yet. I thought we had. There, get my cannon back. Whoa! Now you can alter the speed by hitting the R1 and the R2 button, or the R1 and the L1 button, I should say. But really, I've never found a reason to go much faster than I am. Oh my god! And then you run into all that stuff, and it's just chaos and mayhem. So, we will try to get through this level one more time. Because we've got about 10 minutes to go here. This is where the cannon is really handy, because this thing just eats through this stuff. And you need the cannon to clear the road for you. Go. Eat it. Ah! Got the grenade launcher finally, but could not get much further. In some ways, this game reminds me of one of my favorite early arcade games, which most people nowadays will never even remotely heard of, and it's Zaxxon. And if you know, if you were of my age and you played Zaxxon, you know what I'm talking about. In that it is very much you have to think in 3 axes. You can't just worry about what's happening in front or behind you. You've got to worry about what's happening above you and below you. And that was such a novel idea back in the late 90s. And I really have not seen this sort of game duplicated on any level since. I mean, there are some people who could probably try and tell me that a game like Descent would be like this, but Descent was a totally different animal. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm saying it's different. For one thing, it's a first-person type of shooter game, whereas this is obviously a 2D side-scrolling game. So, well, I can keep on going, but obviously I have to get a whole lot gooder at this again in order to have a prayer. But that, everybody, is Einhander from 1998 for the PS1. If you get good enough at it, you can beat it in a day. Again, it's only 7 levels. It's not super big. But good luck trying to get through it all, because it is... The challenge is very real. Even on easy, this game is not easy. But we will, start with our regular 2 questions. Is this a good game? Absolutely it is. It's by far one of the most original games that I played back in the 90s. The challenge still holds up. The gameplay still holds up. I figure you give me another 20-25 hours of really intense practice on this, and I could get pretty far. But the farthest I've ever gotten in this game was level 4. But having only 3 lives per run and only 10 continues, and there is no Konami code to rescue you. There is no cheat code that I know of that you can plug into this game that will make it so you can or cannot be invincible. you just simply got to go and get better at it and learn what you need to do in order to get through each level, understand the pattern recognitions, beat the bosses, and move on. To this day, I still don't believe that there is, in fact, a website dedicated to all the players who beat it, like I was told back when this game first came out. If there is one, I'd be curious to find it, but I didn't see it in my research. Is this a game that they could make nowadays? Sure, why not? Honestly, I would love to see a sequel to it. Why they didn't make a sequel to it, I don't know. When this game came out in Japan, it sold more than 500,000 units. Or excuse me, it sold 50,000 units 3 days after its release, 100,000 units as of February 1999. It was a runner-up for Best Action Game and Best Graphics Award at the 1998 OPM Editors Award, both of which those went to Crash Bandicoot Warped. And in 2007, Einhander ranked first in IGM's poll of the top 10 2D space shooters of all time. If you've never played this game, give it a try. I dare you. You want to understand what Get Good is like, having played Dark Souls or Sekiro or Elden Ring? That's adorable. This game will challenge you to get good fast. So, again, I'm playing it on the PC SXR emulator. It's a free emulator. It's not hard to find, and they did release it in 2008 on the PlayStation Network, but I don't know if it's been reissued in the years since. If you want to try and find a hard copy of it, good luck. It's not cheap because not a lot of copies of this game were made. So if you're going to go the emulator route, that's probably your best bet in order to get a decent chance at playing it. But in the meantime, that is our one-day playthrough. It's good to be back on this. By the way, apologies for not having a bit of content sooner. My work life took a little bit of a shift over the last week. Not a bad thing, but I had to work overnights, and my company is based out of the UK for a week, so I was very, very, very feeling it in not a good way. It took me 2 days to prep for it, more than 2 days to recover from it. But now I'm back to regular schedule, so service will proceed as planned. We will have a WTF Wednesday coming up later on this week, so be sure to check that out too. And then, as usual, we will have, again, coming up this weekend, more of my first-time playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered. We are now, I believe, getting on episodes 13 and 14 will be in the can. And I'm still having fun with it, still getting through it, and still finding ways to both die creatively and find things to really pique my interest in why it was such a popular title, both when it came out and why it remains so even more now. So, in the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed in the last couple of weeks. We are on the doorstep of finally reaching 100 subscribers, which has been my goal for a while now, and that we are so close to it is great to see. So it shows that we are moving in the right direction with the Retrocade, and I'm hoping we can only continue to go up from there. It's also going to have to give me reasons to change my outro from the usual begging and pleading to get you guys to subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. Help spread the word about us so we can get to that 100 subscriber threshold. And as always, if there's been a game that you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles you want. My name is Ronan. It has been great to spend this one-day playthrough with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday for WTF Wednesday. Bye.